So why don't we talk briefly about each of our characters and let me get from you what it is that you feel is coming so far.
And after that, he hadn't really thought about it, what he's going to do next. You know,
he's running his entire thought process on an idea of love that he has for Miriam. He's picturing what it would be like in his mind, and then when he gets there, it's totally different than what he'd expected.
I'm just saying that in my conception of this guy is that he backdoored into the ministry, but he's real comfortable with it, and the community, his whatever you want to call them, parishioners or his flock. Yeah, they're pretty comfortable with it too.
Yes.
Do you ever
It's got to be more than, am I ever angry at you?
I mean, you express sometimes, why do you say these things to me, but do you ever
Lose my cool?
Yeah.
Pretty close, I think.
Does it say,
Oh,
yeah,
oh
Harriet says it several times.
Okay, I'm still in my.
I've been wrestling with that, whether she would say that. She definitely wouldn't say it unless it's someone she's totally comfortable with. And I liked your description of Pastor Dupree, because it comes from where my heart was feeling toward you.
You know, but she had a lot more. She was more interested in touching people.
Fell in love with somebody he'd never met, but he saw the love that Morgan had and wanted that and desired that so much.
If he had gone to Germany at 7, it would be far more difficult for him to come back to America as a prisoner how many years later?
Oh, I'm wonderful in dance, but, you know, can't keep a man around for long.
Well, you know, I would just say, if you just would stop being such an open book, people wouldn't feel free to just say such things to you.
Oh, but how could I possibly stop being
I know, but if you just, for a minute, people wouldn't say such things to you.
She'll never tell you that, but that's what you think all the time.
Exactly. But that's what, as I sit here and listen to you, I can sense why Miriam loves you so much. Is that although it brings such a smile to my face to hear is you being. I know that at your core there's some pain there, and that some of that pain is self-induced. You know.
I really do mind that my husband left me.
I know.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when I hear you it's because I'm so darn internal and I can't say what is on my mind, so I just watch you, oh my gosh, you know.
Of all the Battle of the Bulge movies that I've ever watched, that was the most shocking and intriguing element of the Battle of the Bulge, besides all the people that were killed.
Somehow manipulate to get to the U.S. instead of a POW camp in Europe. I mean, he has this one thing he's got to get back to Miriam. That's just me. I just thought that's, and after that, he hadn't really thought about it, what he's going to do next.
I will not have that talk in my house. About what? About Houdini, for God's sake. And she's going off the deep end about this guy who died of appendicitis, and then all of a sudden she's talking to Morgan, Richard, like he's Morgan.
I can recognize that. She's one heck of a dancer, you know. And maybe I'm thinking, well, I'd really like to have her in my flock. Or, you know.
Just said something to me that I found just it transcended whatever we were going through, and at that moment, it's that morning, and you had already lashed out at me, but you said something that made me laugh, and I giggle, and as I read it, I giggle, and then you ask if I'm going to start the day with some sugar, and oh, thank you, everything's fine, and there I've already found moments where I just, okay, Harriet.
I've got my preconceptions based on what I saw at auditions, but I'm just the director. I don't have to get up there and convince an audience that this story is going to hit home.